My fish fam, it's Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and what a wild deck I have for you today. What, we're playing with Silver Adept? We're playing with what, Flood Pit's Drowner? I thought these were unplayable. The one toughness creatures were banned. Didn't I tell you the one tough? Well, what are we doing here today? And I'll happily explain what's going on here today. I looked at the metagame and I'm like, where's Bowmasters? Like, I'm looking at these deck lists. Do they even play it anymore? They got a lot of the decks that are playing black, they're playing like between 2 or 0 Bowmasters. And I'm like, okay. Well then, if somehow Bowmasters is power crept out of the format, by all means. That's great. I don't mind reaching for Silver Adept to replace itself, dig deeper for our lords, but also be good Flare of Denial food. I would love to play with Flood Pit's Drowner. I think Flood Pit's Drowner is a fantastic card in the modern metagame, even in the legacy metagame, but the problem was Orcish Bowmasters. So we're going to open ourselves up to a lot of risk in today's league, but it looks like the decks that prominently featured Bowmasters, they're way lower on the meta scale, and I'm hoping these are just going to be relatively useful, especially against the energy matchup. Now, here's some good news and bad news. The good news is that the Underworld Breach deck is really, really popular in the metagame. That's good for us because that is a good matchup. The bad news, however, is that the cards that are good versus Breach are just brutal, terrible versus energy. Like, you want Lords in the Breach matchup. Have a nice, good, fast clock and kill your opponent really quickly. Counter spells are good, but as we've seen versus energy, I don't really like Lords because we can't race our opponent at all, and the counter spells are awful too because I don't want to be 2-for-1 myself. And also, I can really run out of resources very, very quickly. And then we got cards like Silver Adept and Flood Pit's Drowner, which I think are going to be decent versus energy, but they're not particularly useful versus the Breach deck. So we're playing Spreading Seas over Tideshaper, I think, more than ever before, whether it be versus energy, whether it be versus the new Black-White Blink deck. We need a form of we need an Island Walk enabler that's not so easy to kill, not so easy to remove, something that can be permanent on the battlefield. They got like one basic swamp, one basic mountain, and those energy and like black-white, I don't even know what to call it, dead guy ale. Is that what they're calling it these days? Anyway, if they have one basic and I play Tideshaper, they can just kill the Tideshaper with Solitude or whatever. If we play Spreading Seas, it's gone. They could blink it with Thalia. That's fine. Give me more cards. I love card advantage. Give me the cards. So, a lot harder way to deal with Spreading Seas. What else to say about this deck? I'm trying to slim it down. Okay, Rishtun Dockhand could be Tideshaper, but I really want to have something to be able to, I can reliably play in the dark on turn 1. If I have Tideshaper in my hand on turn 1 on the play, like, I don't know if I want to play this thing turn 1 or turn 2. But like, I can always play Rishtun Dockhand, whereas Tideshaper would be great with our Spreading Seas, Harbinger of the Seas plan. So we're going to keep a good eye on our Rishtun Dockhand to see if it's better as a Dockhand for like turn 1 Flare of Denial and very early beats, or if we top deck it, if it would have performed better as a Tideshaper. We're just going to keep our eyes on that. Oh yeah, and we're playing with Gloom like Verge because I keep forgetting about this card. Amazing card that they printed in Duskmourn. And, you know, if you have the spots for it, I would suggest that we play it because it produces blue mana. And if we have an island in play, then we can save some life on our Dismembers. Anything else in the sideboard? We got Stern Scolding for the energy matchups. A bunch of other regular, familiar players over here. All right, with that, let's get into our league. We won the die roll. We have a 1-lander, so we're going to have to mulligan. We have not a 1-lander. Pretty crummy hand, though. I guess we're going to keep, and I suppose we're going to dump 1 Flare of Denial. Yeah, I think that's about right. It's also not a very good hand, because in order to cast our Flare of Denial, we need to draw another land. It's one of those hands, it's like, if you want to cast your cards, well, you got to draw more of those cards. I guess an alternative way of maybe playing this hand is to dump the Vial, keep both Flares, and just hope I top deck a bunch of creatures. We're up against Selfisek, who is famous for playing Mardu Pyromancer a long time ago, once upon a time. Prismatic Vista, I don't remember what deck plays this. Maybe a snow deck? Are we getting snowy around here? Jingle bells, jingle bells. I should quickly look. Is this like a card played in that black-white? Oh, that's great. That's great. Another vial. I love drawing the second vial, especially after I mulligan. It's just brutal. I don't see... No, I don't see Prismatic Vista in other decks. Or I see the black-white Blinky deck. My opponent asked me if I like the new Merfolk. You know what? When that thing comes out, maybe I should play test it. Oh, hold on. Is it out yet? Oh! Oh, we have Eldrazi Temple here. Okay, so I still need to draw land to cast my Flare of Denial. Oh, we got the land. Alright, so we flooded out so that we can hard cast our Flare of Denial. Our opponent has 7 cards in our hand. We have basically no cards in our hand. Not to mention, Dismember is a pretty poor card in this matchup too. But postboard, I mean, it gets a lot better. We get access to Consign to Memory. We have like another Harbinger of the Seas. What else do we have available to us? No, that's probably all that we need. Thought-Knot Seer. I wish I had less cards in my hand. Wish I had a lot less cards in my hand. So, no, I'm just going to counterspell this. Didn't want to do it. But we got to do what we got to do to survive around here. Because if I have no cards in my hand, then I could Dismember it in response to the thing. It dies, I draw a card. And then after we draw a card, we can hopefully vial it in play and actually get value out of the Thought-Knot Seer. Our opponent is going to play around Toughness Tidebinder by grabbing a land right now. It's also possible they have Dismember in hand. They just want to Dismember our Master of the Pearl Trident before we do any tricky stuff. But usually, the smart players... Swamp! Yeah, that is not the color I thought they would have. Selfasek is very creative. Very creative player. Well, so we will... I guess we're going to leave these both on 2, because our deck is mostly 2s. And again, if our opponent plays Thought-Knot Seer again, then we could Dismember it in response to the trigger. In this case, I'm going to lose something anyway. Yes, yes! Okay, now, I think in this case, I have to let my opponent just chew up one. There's no value to Dismembering it now, because then they could just Dismember, they could just take the other one. Anyway. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. The Emperor of Bones. So exiles cards from a graveyard. Whenever a counter is put on Emperor of Bones, put a creature card exiled with Emperor of Bones onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. Gains haste. Sack at the beginning of the next end step. Opponent asks, you like my black Drazis? I'm like, looks great. Looks great. Okay, we're going to Dismember the Thought-Knot Seer. Gonna get a card off of this. Got a Silver Adept. That's why we kept these all on 2s. So if we could draw another 2, which we don't, that's awkward. Didn't draw another 2. So this could have been a Tide Shaper, though. I'm going to leave everything on 2. The only thing I can play is... Oh, that's awkward. Emperor of Bones, beginning of combat, exile to 1 target creature, target card from a graveyard. So they can get the Thought-Knot Seer if they adapt. I guess we just attack. Not really blocking. Fortunately, I cannot bounce my Silvergill Adept. My fear is that, so at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to one target card from a graveyard. Could be this Thought-Knot Seer. And then, when then they can adapt. And then put a creature card exiled with Emperor Bones onto the battlefield. Okay, I'm going to keep this Sink into Stupor in my hand so that when the Thought-Knot Seer hits, I can at least... Oh, what am I going to do? No! So I'm going to lose one no matter what. No, and then I lose the other one because the Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, so we have to sink the Emperor. Bouncing Emperor. We lose everything. Like, if I let Inquisition resolve, they take my Sink into Stupor, and then they'll adapt to the Emperor of Bones. Copy Thought-Knot Seer. So I would lose my hand anyway. No way to protect. Graveyard Trespasser. Eat up my cards. It's funny, this is a Pioneer card. Pioneer card finds modern play. Let's say always no to 1. My luck, people, my luck. What can I say? The magic gods, they giveth. The magic gods, they taketh. And right now, they taketh a lot from me lately. They taketh a lot. Oh yeah, I actually should have played my Ether Vial so that this thing doesn't get big. So I need to cast 2 cards. Why'd they exile the Thought-Knots here? I thought they want to eat that up with Emperor of Bones. This is not good. Or discard a card. Actually, it's also... Actually, no. Keeping Ether Vial in our hand is actually decent because we do need to eat up this ward. So we need to find ourselves a nice, delicious Flood Pits Drowner. Nice and delicious Flood Pits Drowner. Definitely counter this. I don't know about everyone else, but I really don't like this new, like, card viewer thing. I think it's clunky and it's getting in my way. I don't have lag like everyone else seems to be complaining about, but I imagine a good chunk of the lag probably is that thing. I guess I'll pass and try to chump block with the Lord of Atlantis, but opponent's representing, like, a lot. I think they have, like, a lot of removal. I also have no idea how to come back from this. Like, my following turn needs to be Silvergill Adept into Silvergill Adept into, like, Harbinger of the Seas or something. What's in our exile zone? Oh. Yeah. Figured it's just a bunch of Kozilek's commands and probably Fatal Push. Okay, we have a lot of useful tools to bring in, though. Okay, we definitely want the other Harbinger of the Seas. I don't mind the Tishana's Tiebinder. It seems to be ETBs and activated abilities galore. Consigned to Memory obviously is a very good play here. I mean, I don't know what's in my opponent's deck, so I have no idea if Stern Scolding is good enough. Obviously hits Emperor of Bones. It's probably, yeah, it's not really, doesn't hit enough. Cards I don't want. I think we can live without Rishadan Dockhand. We're going to want maximum Seize effects to defeat my opponent's stuff. Flare of Denial seems fine. Harbinger of Seas is great. I have to get rid of 4 cards, though. Can I live without Flood Pits Drowner? Am I supposed to take out some Ether Vials? No, I don't want to take out too many Ether Vials. I think Ether Vial should be good. Ether Vial is good versus Thought Not Seer decks. Force of Negate? Well, I mean, okay. I'm bringing in a lot of counter magic, so how about we take out the thing that can't counter everything? Like Force of Negation. At least Flare of Denial can counter every creature in the deck. We'll take out one vial. Does that seem appropriate? There's Silvergill Adept. Maybe I'll dump one Silvergill Adept. This is like slightly attrition-y, but not really that much. Maybe I'm supposed to take out a Lord. Be maybe a little bit more on the control side. I can keep it. That's all I'm gonna say. Fortunately, we're on the play. Oh, actually, they showed us Inquisition of Kozilek. That should actually change how I sideboard. So actually, we definitely want Silvergill Adept. It's a little, yeah, it is a little bit more attrition-y than I originally thought. Maybe we don't want any Flare of Denial. Not to mention, also Flare of Denial is going to get significantly worse when they see our hand. See, instantly punished. I mean, this is the value of playing a deck that's not on the metagame. They took my Spreading Seas away. My Spreading Seas. Oh, no. That was my card advantage. That card's great. We just need to somehow get it in play with a Harbinger of the Seas. Could potentially win on the spot. Could potentially. Especially with 2 Flare of Denials, maybe we could set up a situation where Flood Pit Strandor gets in play first, and then we can protect it. No! Anyway, alright. Well, here's the good news. Now I don't have to put my vial to 3. I don't have to put my vial to... I don't have to take the vial up to 3. What? They have another one? Another Goyf? Okay, sure. Okay, this deck is, like, very far from whatever I thought it was. Maybe playing the vial there is not good. Well, I'm shields down on colorless cards, but a colorless card doesn't hit. Well, it appears that, like, colorless cards isn't even, like, the dominant way to win with this deck. It appears it's just with creatures. It's just like a black aggro deck. There's a swamp on the battlefield. Okay, so the best thing I could possibly hope for is a creature that I can... Okay. These draws were very bad. If we, like, drew land into land, then we could at least play Harbinger of the Seas and have, like, Flare of Denial up as, like, counter magic. It's that delicate balance. You want as many vials as you can versus as many decks as you can. Just out of curiosity before I get smoked. Could I have sideboarded better? Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could have done a little bit better is actually have Silvergill Adept in the deck. Outside of that, I think I'm fine. Well, yeah, we're going to put this in play. I hope that it's good enough. Well, it does, I mean, Fatal Push is offline because there's no Revolt. So how else could this die? Shoot the Sheriff. Destroy target non-outlaw creature. Okay, let's move on to the second round, shall we? Let's move on to the second round. I'm very confident in the deck, but like that was a brutal match. Not that I think the matchup should be like bad or anything, but like it just played out terrible. All right, see you in round 2. We won the die roll. I'm gonna keep it on the play. This hand looks way more balanced than the last one. We are certainly going to curve out almost no matter what. If they blow up my vial, if they steal cards out of my hand, I'm going to be playing our cards, damn it. We have a Silvergill Adept, so hopefully we're not at any risk of flooding out or anything like that. I wonder if our opponent had Orcish Bowmasters last game. I wonder. Okay, we're going to start off with the Vial, and of course we're going to play Silvergill Adept next turn. Probably show the Flood Pits Drowner. We are up against an Undercity Sewers deck. We are up against Goro's Vengeance. Okay. So if we can get this Harbinger of the Seas in play, it is GG. Or it's going to be a big beating. Dockhand, interesting. Okay, I'm going to pass, do nothing. I would hope to flood... If they Goro's Vengeance, the Atraxa, I would hope to... What's it called? Flood Pits Drowner it with the trigger on the stack so that they don't get an attack in with it. Emperor of Bones, that's fine. Also, I don't really get it. Oh, interesting. So they're going to eat up... Oh, no. Huh? I thought the point was to eat up the Atraxa and then put it on the battlefield. I thought that was going to be a cute line. Okay, so we're just going to put a Flood Pits Drowner in play. Tap this thing. Put a Dockhand in play. Have a decent board, really. So I'm just going to Silvergill Adapt, draw a random card, and then play Harbinger of the Seas. It's not super random. Get an island, which lets us keep our Otawara. I guess next we're just going to attack for 3. So hopefully our opponent does not have a basic swamp in hand, and this Harbinger of the Seas. I mean, it's not like a lock or anything, because if our opponent has Solitude, then that can deal with the Harbinger of the Seas. But if there is no Solitude, then we are just above and beyond in front in this game. That's right. It taps for nothing. Free the Fae. Free it all you want. You gotta put an instant or sorcery card in the swamp that they need is in the graveyard. And they're like, well, that's it. That's GG. So, is this just a black-blue version of Goro's Vengeance? And there's no... It sort of looks like it's a black-blue version. So between Emperor of Bones... Now, I don't expect Harbinger of the Seas to be good here. This is just one of those matchups. They go fetch for a swamp, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, what cards are going to be good here? I think Stern Scolding is going to be good to hit Emperor of Bones, Psychic Frog. Consign to Memory actually looks really good for just Atraxa if it resolves. Of course, Tishana's Tidebinder. Maybe Hexcatcher? What are we taking out here? Gotta take out a lot of stuff. I'm not really familiar with what these decks look like. Is there a blue? I thought it was Esper. I thought these decks are super Esper. Oh, they're not. Picklock, Prankster, Psychic, Snapcaster, Mage, Grizzlebrand. So it's pretty. It's still pretty combo-y. Silvergill Adapt is pretty good fodder for Flare of Denial. Flood Pits Drowner is probably just a very good card versus Psychic Prog. I'll take out some of the Dockhands. Might be able to take... Okay, I probably have to take out the Spreading Seas and also the Harbinger of the Seas. I know it won us the game, but like, it's not... I don't think this is something I can rely on, especially since they have a swamp. Do they have their own? I'm not looking at my opponent's deck list, but I'm just looking at a generic deck list. They are not playing with their own Harbinger. Oh no, they are. They have it in the sideboard. So it's just like a Murktide matchup where they have Harbinger of the Seas in the sideboard. Okay, what do we have to get rid of? Okay, maybe Consign is not that big of a deal. No, it hits... Okay, hits Subtlety, Snapcaster Mage. You can also hit Snapcaster Mage. Stern Scolding. Also, Consigned to Memory can't hit the activated ability of Grizzlebrand, so maybe I shouldn't rely on this card so much. Bring in another Dock Hand, just to give myself some room to curve out with the Hex Catcher. What else to do here? Anything else worth killing? Dismember? Not really. Let me just go all in on these Dock Hands. If I have to deal with a Psychic Frog, we still have Flood Pit's Drowner at the very least. Also, Tishana's Tidebinder might lock it down. Like, they activate the Psychic Frog, and then we Tishana's Tidebinder and make it lose flying. Sound is okie dokie. The only thing I have to worry about is if our opponent... Okay, well, the deck I saw online was Dimir. Faithless Looting. That changes everything. My sideboarding sucked. Grizzlebrand hits Graveyard instantaneously. Okay, so, well, let's play a Silvergill Adept. I gotta show Tishana's Tidebinder. That seems valuable. Okay, pass. Maybe I should just pass the turn, just with 2 mana up. I have Sink into Stupor in my hand, and then when I can get to 3 mana, I can just start playing at flash speed. Because the biggest problem is, like, they remove my Silvergill Adept here. Which they don't. So we get to play Flare of Denial. I'm really a little surprised by what they did. I thought that if they had Goro's Vengeance, they would play it in response to my Silvergill Adapt. Maybe they weren't thinking about Flare of Denial, but that was their opening. Maybe they have another one. I don't know. They do. Okay, maybe I shouldn't concede. There's definitely a lot of games where they don't actually win. They have a really good hand, but it's not converted into a victory. I can draw 21 cards. It's a lot of cards. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of cards. We're all wondering, where's the Faithless Looting decks out there? Well, there it is. How many red cards are there? So, do I want Harbinger of the Seas? They definitely don't have a Mountain in their deck, but maybe that's the only red card in their deck. They fetch to thin their deck. Oh, they consign the Grizzlebrand to keep it in play. Funny. It's very funny, opponent. Very, very funny. You know what's also equally funny? Bouncing your Grizzlebrand. Sink into Stupor. If I can make it work. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Let's counter the Goro's Vengeance trigger. They discarded a boatload of cards. But I didn't draw anything useful here. Oh no, I didn't draw. I didn't draw anything at all. We have Otawara. Which means it still has haste. Did they put another payoff card in here? They do have Grizzlebrand. I think I'm going to pass. I'm going to try to... I mean, what I really want to do is play Tishana's Tidebinder against, like, an activation of Grizzlebrand. And if it goes for an attack, then at the very least we're going to bounce the Grizzlebrand with Sink into Stupor. And not let our opponent, like, Goro's Vengeance on the same turn. Because if I do it early, then they can Goro's Vengeance another Grizzlebrand that they have in their graveyard. This could get hit by a counterspell. We are super behind. I am not playing around counter magic at this point. They shock themselves. Because why not? Show of strength. At this point of the game. Another Emperor of Bones. Now this is a game I wish I had Ether Vial. But don't give it to me right now. That'd be useless. Pass? How do I navigate this? I have 4 mana. Is Stern Scolding worth anything? Probably not. Probably not. We'll throw the Richard and Dockhand out. Use it as Flare of Denial food if necessary. There's an outside chance. I mean, we draw a Lord and attack for victory. It's not impossible. Depends how greedy our opponent wants to be. Depends how greedy they want to be. Like, so they can exile a card. Whenever one or more counters are put on the Emperor Bones, put a creature card exiled with Emperor Bones on the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. It gains haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. So this card has unofficially become a new Goryo's Vengeance. It's the it's what's it called? It's Magus of the Vengeance. Should have renamed. That was a fail, Wizards. You should have called it Magus of the Vengeance. Opponent's thinking really hard. I would think after you drew, like, how many cards were drawn? 14 cards. You'd be in a position of strength. Apparently, this is a position of weakness. Maybe there's a bunch of consigned memories or something, which is not good for our Toughness Tidebinder over here. Which maybe they are trying to figure out what to do. It's also possible that they have that they want to go all in on their Psychic Frog, which they can, and then try to hit me in 2 turns. But again, Toughness Tidebinder counter at least one of these triggers, and they're in a lot of trouble. Oh wow, they can do this on this turn right now. Sure. You want to activate it this turn? If they activate the Emperor of Bones, then I have to Toughness Tidebinder that thing. And I guess then that gives them a little bit more room to go all in on the Psychic Frog. Okay, this is going to be a trigger. I'm going to let this trigger resolve. Because then after it's adapted, it can't adapt again. Yeah, so this is where they're going to go all in on a Psychic Frog. Oh. Oh, they rediscarded the Grizzlebrand. I thought they had a Grizzlebrand already. Oh, they Grizzlebrand went over here. Okay, so this is where we're going to counter this one. We're putting up a hell of a fight here. What else do I need to happen? Can't really block any of this stuff. Maybe I think I screwed up. I should actually counter it. Like, I let this adapt happen because I thought, well, if they kill my Toughness Tidebinder, then, well, that's not good news. Then they can just do this all over again. But the problem is that I can't really beat this board. So I should just play as if my opponent doesn't have any removal. So they are going all in on the Psychic Frog. They're keeping 2 cards in hand. I don't like that. Threw away a Toxic Deluge, which means maybe they kept the Toxic Deluge. Another Toughness Tidebinder. Okay, we're dead. Cannot beat Froggy. Well, that was a lot of creatures. Okay, so they have what is it? They have Emperor of Bones. They have Psychic Frog. They have... It changes significantly how I want to play this. It's probably better to not have Stern Scolding and to have Dismember. What else is better here? Can this counter? This counters what? Do I want to have Harbinger now? I think the only red card is probably Faithless Looting. Which is okay. Whatever. Okay, we're just going to submit this. Game was like way more balanced than it looked. Yeah, we can keep this. Smidge awkward, but it's okay. What's interesting, actually, if Emperor of Bones exiles the Grizzlebrand, and then they go to adapt, I guess I can dismember the Emperor of Bones, and then the Grizzlebrand is just exiled. Foreversies. Slight concern I have is that they have Bowmasters in the deck, but I mean we didn't see it yet. Maybe they don't. Like, it's a good card, but it had, like, Psychic Frog and Emperor of Bones both have synergy with this archetype. Bowmasters does not. No synergy at all. Except that it's just a cool card. That is very rude. It's insanely rude. I think I'm just going to say yes to that card. If they want to pop it, they can pop it, and then we'll just play another Ether Vial. It's going to slow me down a lot, but I think I should keep my Force of Negation for something more important like Toxic Deluge, which they showed, or any of the combo pieces. His hand's getting a little bit worse before it gets better. However, they're going to have a lot of incentive to pop the explosives because they don't want me to get to 2. Oh, they're on a 1-lander too. Well, I'm not putting the Dockhand out. I don't feel like doing that. It's funny. They're on a 1-lander. I'm on a 1-lander. Got Stern Scolding. That's funny. Okay, so we'll put a Silvergill Adept in play to attempt to draw a land. We don't. And I am not going to expose more things into this Engineered Explosives. Sure. I mean, maybe putting 1 Dockhand in play is not the end of the world. The hand is, like, loaded. Think I will pay. I don't know how much I want to pay here. I could pay nothing. Pay nothing and pass. I think I could pay nothing and pass. Alternatively, I could pay 3, play a Dockhand. I think we're just gonna let this Engineered Explosives pop at some point. Okay. Okay. I don't even know what's in their hand. I mean, they got 8 cards. They have to move to discard. Like, isn't that good for Agora's Vengeance deck? You discard a creature. Well, anyway, that is not how I expected to win this match, but we won it. All right, move on to round 3. Here for round 4, we lost the die roll. Our hand is okay. I'm going to keep it. We have a turn 1 play, we have a turn 2 play versus creature decks, so we might even hopefully have like Harbinger of the Seas backed up by Force Negation. Also, interestingly, we got the Gloom Lake Verge with an island, and maybe we're not going to take so much damage from our Dismembers like we usually do. Maybe we're not going to take so much damage from our Dismembers. Utopia Sprawl on a basic forest. Do you know what? I say no. That's very dangerous. You want that ramp, don't you? You want that ramp, don't you? So usually if you're a Utopia Sprawl deck, you're trying to get to 3-4 mana pretty quickly. Well, they have 3 mana this turn if they really need it. Probably here we're going to just play Silvergill Adapt. See what we draw. My plan. Default plan is Silvergill Adapt. What do I want to do at my upkeep? I want to play Kozilek's Command or something? Kozilek's Command can only be played for 1? I mean, I dumped 2 Force Negations here. Yeah, Kozilek's Command. You want to ramp, and you want to scry and draw a card. That's fine. What are you in such a hurry for, opponent? What are you in such a hurry for? 0 top, 1 bottom. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Maybe with the Spreading Seas, we're going to hit the Forest. No, I probably should hit the Ugin's Labyrinth anyway. And then force my opponent to sack their spawn token if they want to continue playing with colorless spells. What's going on here? Some sort of lag. Is this the infamous lag I'm hearing about on Magic Online? I have a bunch of other weird options. I could like dismember this Eldrazi spawn token and play the Harbinger of the Seas. Those options exist too. But what's really nice about Spreading Seas, I think, you know what, I think we got to move back to Spreading Seas. I'm not certain, but I think this is the way to go. Because Tideshaper, every single time I play Tideshaper in this spot, I'm like, it's gonna die. It's so vulnerable. It's gonna die to Dismember. It's gonna die to this. It's gonna die to that. I don't like that. That's not good. Okay, our opponent found a Windswept Heath, which is pretty good for us. Less colorless mana. It's colorless mana that runs the show in this deck. I mean, green mana is also useful. It's colorless mana that runs the show. It's the engine to cast the colorless spells. Actually, I don't know what we're up against. We could be up against Brood Scale. We could be up against Eldrazi Ramp. Opponent has not revealed to me what they're playing. Also, hold on. They showed the World Breaker. Yeah, it's just a ramp deck. The red, yeah, and they played the they also played the Utopia Sprawl, which is also indicative of being a ramp deck. No, that's not good. That's not good. Because now they have red mana no matter what. Need that Spreading Seas back. Can I bounce my Spreading Seas? I don't know if that Dockhand's going to help me here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting closer to World Breaker world. How about we draw a card first? With our Silvergill Adept. We did get a Sink into Stupor. Don't know how useful that is. And maybe we play a Dockhand? So the deal is, I don't want to run out this Harbinger of the Seas into, what's it called, my opponent's potential. I won't actually cancel this. Let's just dismember this. I'm going to be rude. This hits their ramp and hits their colorless mana. And now you have 0 colorless mana. Also, I'm not going to run into the stupid Kozilek's return. Because if I play Dockhand, I can get hit hard by a Kozilek's return. Another one. Sowing Miko Spawn. Go get a land. It's kicked. Gonna exile my land. Very rude. Very rude opponent. Okay, now we're just gonna be forced to play Harbinger of the Seas. And if they got Kozilek's return, then they got Kozilek's return, and they're gonna return me back to where I came from the Marine. They got a blast zone. Well, they really don't like that spreading seas. Was that your win condition right over there? Oh, that is a great draw. That was bang on perfect. We're definitely gonna pay 3 life. Get our Harbinger of the Seas in play. All right, I think I'm not gonna say the game's locked up, but I mean this is a really good spot. They do have access to red and green mana, but we do have the Flare of Denial, and we have some backup creatures. Silvergill Adept, that's what you're for. We play ya and we sack ya. I mean, this is really like the best possible combo. The problem is the 1 toughness creatures were just so hated out of the metagame. This is just a weird spot in Modern where you have another one of those things. Karn the Great Creator. Do you know what? That's a pretty strong card too. We're just in a weird spot in Modern where 1 toughness creatures are actually alive. I wouldn't say thriving or anything, but like they're not dead. Aha! Aha! Now you screwed. Oh, even more screwed. Okay, now that's GG. Also, I'm sort of appreciating the drawing an extra card with Spreading Seas these days. What, another Karn the Great Creator? Oh, they're trying to cast something for red mana. They don't have that red mana. Well, attack, I guess. We can pass with Force Negation and Flood Pit's Drowner up. This is working perfectly as planned. What is this, Ugin? Oh. Oh! Oh, that's a problem. You're going to control my turn, which means which means Harbinger of the Seas is probably... Damn it! I really needed this thing. Okay, hold on. When you cast this spell, gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. After that turn, that player takes an extra turn. This would be fine if my opponent didn't have 2 creatures in play. Okay, that is going to happen. Well, the game is a game again. I guess I have to play the Flood Pit's Drowner. Damn, I wish I could tap my own creature. Actually, it doesn't. Tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. If I could tap my Harbinger of the Seas, I don't have to attack with it. I don't have to attack with it. I guess tap this thing. So they get to play out my turn. Please play my Lord of Atlantis. There's like only one thing to do, I think. You just attack with the Harbinger of the Seas. Yes! Yes! I don't know if this is enough. That's hilarious. My opponent's like, God damn. There's still I still have to deal with the stupid 13/13 that my opponent has. I wonder if maybe they'll attack with the Flood Pits and block it so that the Emrakul lives. What a funny spot. Yeah, yeah, they're going for it. It's like, okay, well, I can't actually beat this Harbinger of the Seas now. So we might as well go with this line. So funny. Okay, take our turn. Yeah, I'm still in danger. Like, I'm at 13 life, so we're in major top deck mode, or sorry, chump block mode. Does that flying? Oh, it does have flying. Oh, I'm just lost. Okay, I can't beat the flying. Oh, there's a stun counter on it. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, I was dead anyway. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Okay, but you know what's good versus this deck? Consigned to Memory. That's for sure. You know what else is good? Harbinger of the Seas. And Tishana's Tidebinder. Maybe Hexcatcher. What's not that good? Dismember is... I can't remember if Dismember is good or not. We'll just lean on the side of no. Dockhand is okay. I think I have to take out some 2-for-1s. Maybe Silvergill Adept is not the best thing in the world. Force Negation is probably still okay. But what do I want to take out for it? Maybe I don't want Dockhand. Maybe I want Silvergills and Force of Negation. Maybe. I like Flood Pit Strandor because it has Flash. You on the die, would you like to go first? Absolutely. Really not thrilled with this hand. No, the hand is okay, actually. The hand is okay. Yeah, it can, like, bust up Utopia Sprawl. I mean, Spreading Seas just looks pretty golden in the matchup period. I think our opponent has Utopia Sprawl, and they were thinking about planting it and then passing. And they just thought better of it. They could just sit on it for a little while, which is totally fair and fine. Well, I don't think we can get punished, so I'm just going to play a Master of the Pearl Trident here. And even if they do go for, like, say, they go get a Forest or Stomping Ground, and then play Utopia Sprawl on the following turn, they only have 2 mana, and there's just not a lot of things they can do with 2 mana in this deck. Oh, I forgot they can jump. Oh, no, yeah, okay, this is fine. Yeah, this is okay. If they can't, they still can't even Kozilek's Return here. Windswept Heath. Well, all we needed with last game was a Lord. That would have helped us. There's the Forest. Utopia Sprawl? No. Ooh, a Talisman. It's a good card. Yeah, you did have that. Okay, so I am now in a weird spot. Do I want to hit the Ugin's Labyrinth or Utopia Sprawl? Man, our opponent's going off. I regret playing this thing. What are their options? Kozilek's Command, Sowing Miko Spawn. They got a Devourer of Destiny. What does that card do again? You may reveal when you cast the spell, exile target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So they need double colorless for that. I guess we have to Spreading Seas this thing then. Oh, but they have the spawn. So no matter what we hit, we deprive of our opponent of mana. So I guess I guess we're just gonna hit the Labyrinth, because that can get them a creature. Yeah, no, like they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 7 by next turn. Potentially. Who knows? I'll go after the Utopia Sprawl next turn. I think this should be a good matchup. At least the way the deck is designed. This interaction feels particularly good. It's like a 2-for-1, or it's more than a 2-for. It's like a 2-for-0. It was just a free. You lose basically 2 cards. They got a Kozilek's Return, which is fine. We've got Consigned to Memory in hand. Are you gonna play right now? Talisman of Curiosity. Be curious. You have Devourer of Destiny and a Kozilek's Return in hand. I mean, I guess if they play Kozilek's Return, sorry, you're dead. Like, I'm sorry. You're gonna die. Chalice on 1. That doesn't hit Consigned to Memory, though. Okay. Such a weird play. Could play like Chalice on 2. That'd be very interesting. I don't even have a lot of 1-drops in my deck. What hell over there? Okay. Unfortunately, it actually doesn't do anything. It's not doing very much. So what's the game plan? I guess Spreading Seas this. What does this card do? You cast exile target permanent that's 1 or more colors. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're still off. Blood Pit Strander is fantastic. So remember, I can still replicate with my Consigned to Memory. So the original gets countered, but the replicate doesn't. The replicate like gets underneath because copies don't reach the stack. How to maneuver myself here? Okay, that does get countered by the Chalice. Thinking of playing Otawara. Actually, what I could do is I could play Otawara, bounce, Talisman of Impulse, and then try to consign the memory on the way down. That's interesting. Okay, let's attack for 2. Can be a little patient here. I think. Alternatively, maybe I should be beating my opponent up with Mutavault and then force this thing out. Sorry, the Kozilek's Return. No, but that's the point of hitting the sink. If I sink the Talisman, the line of Kozilek's Return is offline. Okay, that's offline. Let's play with our Flood Pit Strander then. Now they're just running out of mana, period. Let's Attack for 5. I'll play Harbinger of the Seas, and we will have lethal by next turn. Oops. Don't tap too much. Don't tap too much mana, Nikachu. Don't tap too much mana. It's unnecessary. New. The original version gets countered, but the replicate gets underneath the chalice. I countered it because of potentially a lightning bolt. Uh-oh, what is this? Dismember? Oh yeah, you can still sack the damn thing. I'm an idiot. They find Windswept Heath. Not sure if anything really gets them out of this. They're at 6. I have 6 unblockable at the moment. Because they have Island Walk. I mean, maybe something gets them out of this. Because, like, yeah, Windswept Heath doesn't do anything either, because it just turns into an island. Okay, do I want to change anything? Maybe we take out Silvergill Adept on the draw for a Force of Negation. Is Hexcatcher good? Like, maybe? Like, Hexcatcher needs a little bit of babying. I sort of like having Silvergill Adept out and they can die to a Kozilek's return. I have no problem with that. Whereas with Hexcatcher, it's way more awkward. I don't remember what my theory is between Hexcatcher and Silvergill Adept. Oh, did you know what? On the draw... You know what? I think on the draw I want Hexcatcher over Silvergill Adept because I don't want to tap out. I want to play completely at flash speed if I'm allowed to. I think. Let it be so. Like, I'm up a card on the draw anyway. Hand is decent. I'm going to keep our hand. Let's hope our opponent doesn't slam Chalice of the Void on 1 on turn 1. It's the only thing that would put a frown on my face. They mulligan a 6. They just go turn 1 Stomping Ground, no Utopia Sprawl, so they have a very slow hand. Maybe not very slow. I mean, they could play a dual land here. No dual land. Which is actually awkward. That's awkward, because I've got this stupid Spreading Seas in my hand. Oh, they want to put a Utopia Sprawl on that? No. What am I supposed to do here? Play this... Pay 3 life? Sure. I guess I'm just going to pass. I mean, we're just going to wait to play Spreading Seas on a more useful land. I mean, everything's vulnerable. Maybe a Shifting Woodland? That's possible. Well, they don't even have double colorless here, which is just weird. I'll just throw out a Flood Pits Drowner, why not? Let's conceal the information of Hexcatcher for the future. They don't need to know about that. Not yet. Do I just Wind Slam that card? I guess it's still vulnerable to, what's it called? Kozilek's Return. So maybe we just wait for a better spot. Well, it's not bad. What if I just throw it down here? You know what? Let's do it. If they play Kozilek's Return, I'll counter it with Hexcatcher by sacrificing the Flood Pits Drowner. If they don't do it... Uh-oh. They just have Lightning Bolt? No, they have Kozilek's Return. Okay, so if we can hopefully counter this, and hopefully that'll be the end of it. Otherwise, this is a pretty crappy use of resources. What? What? They have the talisman. They forgot. They accidentally didn't pay for this thing. What happened? So they're a little choked on mana. Okay, they don't have... I mean, they still technically have red mana. Oh, another one. Yeah. I guess we're going to cast the... Well, they got all the creatures anyway. I guess they knew. Well, now what do we do? We took the greedy line and they had 2 Kozilek's returns. We're going to leave this vial on 2 because our deck is mostly 2s. Okay, we need to draw cards. Let's hit the woodland first. Play Cavern of Souls, we'll name Merfolk, and just pass. We're just going to humbly pass. Got more green mana. They have an Eldrazi Temple. Okay, with Eldrazi Temple up, I'm probably not going to be playing... What is this? Sowing Mycospawn, so you're going to eat up one of my lands and go fetch out a land. Probably Blast Zone again or something. Yeah. I'm glad I saved this. Well, we're going to have a decent clock. If our opponent does not have another like threat, then maybe our 5 damage can get through for the victory. The opponent doesn't have another threat. Well, that's going to sort of suck. There's also another problem is that there's 2 Kozilek returns in the graveyard. So if our opponent plays 1 giant creature, we're screwed that way too. That's nice. Okay, we're going to hit the... do we have to hit Blast Zone? Actually, we don't technically have to hit Blast Zone right now, do we? If it pops right now, it doesn't destroy anything. What's more important? Well, if I hit the Eldrazi... there's no point in saving this. Let's try to win this game. Let's go find some counter spells. Ooh, that's a good card. It's a good card, chat. Okay, if I put the Lord in play, I attack for 7. I can win by next turn. If I attack for 5, I have 10 actually. Okay, so I don't have to play the Lord. Don't have to expose myself. Okay, we're just hoping our opponent doesn't play like some bomb here. And maybe if they do, we're still fine anyway. Karn is not pleasant. It's not the end of the world. We have to put the Lord in play right now to dodge. I mean, because Karn will shut the vial off. There's 1 4 mana in play, so you can't get Kozilek's return online. What can they do? Oh, maybe EE on 2? No, EE on 2 doesn't work. You can play EE on 2, but Eldrazi Temple can't be cracked. Also, what is it? It's artifact card. You may reveal an artifact card you own from outside the game. Yeah, that won't work. So I guess they're just looking at their sideboard to consider their options. It's possible they'll just look and resign. I don't even know what's in your sideboard, but frankly, I think my options are very good. Yeah, they conceded. That's how I know. That's 5D chess from me. I from a decade of playing this deck, I know exactly what they're trying to do. They're just looking at their outs. All right, that's round 3. Let's move on to round 4. So we're here for the 4th round of this league. I lost the die roll. I have a you see this giant ether vial here? I can't get rid of it. I swear I can't get rid of this thing. Does anything get rid of this stupid ether vial? I don't even know why it's here. And it's on 2. I don't know, this came from my last game or something. Can I like leave here and then come back? It's still there. Well, anyway, I guess we have to live with it. I'm going to keep it. I have 2 lands. We have a Force of Negation down here. Blooming Marsh. It's going to be a hell of a game. Lantern! So that is the card. That's the card of the deck. Once upon a time, I never had Force Negation. Oh, but Lantern's not the card I need to beat. The card I need to beat is actually Ensnaring Bridge. I don't know what the deck looks like right now. I guess we're just going to let it resolve. I don't really know what I'm on. The old fishy shmabob. And they got an Inquisition of Kozilek coming up, which is terrible. So I have to play the Soporific Springs as a land. I'll have to pay 3 mana. Well, how do I tap it for mana now? Oh, good. I can invisibly. I'm sorry that this is just going to be an absolute abomination of a game. I think there's going to be. Can I move my? Does this change stuff? Okay, so I can move. I can move my chat to sort of see behind the board. This is the quality of Magic Online these days. This has never happened to me before. Yeah, they take my Force of Negation as expected. I was expecting to lose my Force of Negation. Now they've got the Codex Shredder, so they've got the combo online. Oh yeah, they have Mox Opal back. That's exactly what they needed. Another Inquisition of Kozilek. So is it going to be a race to find Ensnaring Bridge? They got rid of my Silvergill Adept, which is not really useful to me. Damn, this is hard to play with this damn ether vial here. Disrupting my vision. And I thought my cat being in front of me was distracting enough. Okay, we'll play the island, which they knew about, of course. Play a Lord of Atlantis. Am I tapping my lands? Can't tell if I'm tapping my lands. Okay, we got it. We tapped enough lands to get our Lord of Atlantis in play. How do I get rid of this thing? Can I refresh this? Okay, target player mills a card. They're milling themselves. Oh yeah, this is the classic milling for... Well, actually, that's pretty good. That will also stop my board, more or less. Well, I can get 2 lords in play. Are they going to let me keep my lord? On top, they... Ooh, a Spreading Seas. They're not going to let me keep that, that's for sure. Okay, let's play the lore. I mean, they know all the cards I have in my hand. We're going to attack for Sumish. I can't see where we are, actually. Okay, then make me mill my Spreading Seas. And then we're going to activate, put the lord that they knew we have on top of our deck. We have to go wide versus this damn Urza Saga. Oh, they have a Pithing Needle coming up. Do you want to keep the Pithing Needle, though? No, they do not want to keep the Pithing Needle. They want to keep the Ancient Stirrings. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Our deck should be... Now, that being said, all things being considered, even with Mox Opal in the format, we should have infinitely better chances versus this deck than we normally would have in the past because of all of our counter magic, like Force of Negation, Flare of Denial. Okay, I can basically concede. We do have some outs like Otawara and Soporific Springs, but we'll never get through this stupid milling crap. I'm not willing to wait it out. The Ether Vial disappeared! That's great! I love it when the Ether Vial disappears. Okay, what do we want? I guess Consigned to Memory is pretty good. That counters everything. Hexcatcher is good. Tishana's Tiebinder is good. We never had any of these cards before. Harbinger of the Seas is good for blowing up Urza Saga. Cards we don't want. We don't want Dismember. We don't want... I think we can live with... yeah, we don't need Flood Pits Drowner. I get rid of 5 cards. I guess we don't need Dockhand. I have to dump 1 more card. Let's dump 1 Spreading Seas, I suppose. I'm on the play. Yeah, we can dump 1 Spreading Seas. Okay. Do I have enough creatures? 22 creatures? Sure. Good enough. We only need a few creatures. And the Ether Vial is gone. I'm very happy. Okay, we can keep this. Opponent mulligans to 6. We just go land to go. It's not an impressive start, but it's something. Our opponent also goes land go. Wow. I meet your land go with my land go. Consigned to Memory. I think we're still going to play Silvergill Adept into our Harbinger of the Seas. Try to ramp that thing out. I'm sure the revealing Harbinger of the Seas is going to terrify the bejesus out of them, but that's good. Let them be scared. That's the whole point. Gotta strike some fear in our opponents. Okay, they kept a 1-lander, I guess. Doesn't really feel like that constitutes a win for me. Okay, now we're on the draw. So what happens is on the draw, they can go turn 1 Urza Saga. And then we'll be a little too late to get our Harbinger of the Season play before the Urza Saga pops. So let's not rely on our Harbinger. Or let's at least bring in a Spreading Seas on the draw. But I don't really know what to take out. A land? Not a Consigned to Memory. I shouldn't take out any of the creatures. Alright, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. Let them have it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I guess I could have taken out maybe a Tishana's Tidebinder. No, I don't want to take out any of the creatures. This hand is fine. I'm going to keep this. Very similar to the last hand. Except we do have that Spreading Seas protection for turn 2. Okay, but we don't need it. Thoughtseize. And they could take my Sink into Stupor. I don't like the sound of that. It's definitely a way of just losing on the spot. No, I'm just going to let it resolve. I don't want to, I really don't want to force this. And it costs them 2 life. So they are going to take this, so we have to just try to hope to draw land or a vial. I mean, if they're going to play Thoughtseize, shouldn't they like play Mishra's Bauble first on me? I mean, maybe they wanted to target themselves in theory. We did not draw land, not yet. So we can buy some time here. We do at least have a Force of Negation. And we have big upside when we do hit our land because of the Silvergill Adept and the Spreading Seas. It's possible maybe I should be countering the Ancient Stirrings, because this thing can just find a land. Wait a minute. At the beginning of the end step, if you control no artifacts, sacrifice Glimmervoid. It's very, very enticing. Okay, what artifacts can you have? You can have Mishra's Bauble. Could this be a greedy play? They know I have Force of Negation. They know I have Force of Negation. Or is this like their only? It's the beginning. Hold on, at the beginning of the end step. Well, if they have Mox Opal, then this is like one less artifact for them to just tap it for mana. Okay, I'm gonna dump a Lord. We're gonna keep spreading seas for a particular land in the future. Oh, high risk, high reward play worked, at least for me. Okay, you took my land, I took your land. It's even now, but I found my land. Start casting my damn cards. Silvergill Adept. Not interested in playing Spreading Seas right now because I would rather get to the third land with Flare of Denial backup, because once Harbinger of the Seas hits the battlefield, it's pretty. That's like a lock almost. And they just drew the Mishra's Bauble. What is this? Pay 3, tap, discard a card, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Put one of the cards in your hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. Wow, that's, in a random order. That card's great. Borderline amazing. We got our third land, so this is very close to locked up. Okay, no more black removal. It's basically like, what is it? Snaring a Bridge or Bust. Ah! Look at that. Look at that. Uh-oh. Oh no, but you don't have nearly enough artifacts. At 1 mana of any color, you need more artifacts. Definitely gonna counter that. The clock is on. We'll attack for 2 and then figure out what I want to do with this Toughness Tidebinder. It's interesting, even Fatal Push is not very good here, because they need to sack something. Another one? I'm at least attacking for 2? Okay, sure. It's not the end of the world. I mean, we still have, what, 2 Otawars, 4 Sinks? It's not pleasant, though. I'm not thrilled about what's going on over here. Okay, attack for 2. Showing them the Toughness Tidebinder, which I'm not thrilled about. Like, I'm not thrilled to show them that card. And I'm just going to pass. Hold up the Toughness Tidebinder. They now need to really empty their hand. Another bridge! Well, if their hand is that clunky... Oh, but it's not going to anymore. The Mox Opal is going to be online to cast some sort of card. Pithing Needle, sure. Well, now what do we do? Like, what? You know, I'm fine with like dealing with 1 bridge, 2 bridges, 3 bridges, 3 of them. We countered 1 of them. Well, this is suddenly a lot more complicated, and they are naming Otawara, so I can only. What are our outs here? I don't even know what our outs are right now. I'm just going to put a bunch of bodies on the battlefield. So it's basically we have to draw 2 sinks. We bounce 1 at end of turn, and then bounce 1 on our turn. That's like the only thing we can do. We can buy a lot of time because, well, first off, the lands are locked down with Harbinger of the Seas. I mean, if they draw Urza Saga, they have to just play it and let it die. How many do we have left? Oh, we only have 3 Sink into Supers left. We dumped one already to the Force of Negation. So the odds aren't really in our favor. And they naturally drew their swamp, which is also not good for us. Actually we can Spreading Seas the swamp, so that works. Abrupt Decay? Okay. I guess we're just gonna lose. Our opponent's hand was amazing. It was very, very strong. I thought we were completely in the driver's seat that game. I don't know, maybe we got baited. We got baited, chat. I didn't have to play that Force Negation on the Lantern of Insight. I got super baited. Okay, Codex Shredder, which we can technically deal with. Though I don't want to right now. I need to quickly deal with this stupid land. Discard a card, look at the top X cards of your library where X is the number of artifacts you control. Yeah, I'm gonna lose very quickly. Again, I'm putting bodies on the battlefield because I need some way to, I mean, the plan is to draw 2 sinks and then attack for victory. I'm just gonna let this resolve. Okay, we have a Lantern. We see Mutavault here. I guess I'm gonna draw Mutavault. Sign of Memory does not help me. This Fomori Vault is gonna bury me. Oh, that's not good. Found a Thoughtseize. I think that's it. That's just game. I can't win from here. Alright, good games, I guess. I mean, do you know what? I mean, I don't know what it was in our opponent's hand, but if that Glimmer Void into a Lantern of Insight was bait, then it was a great bait. It actually, and you know, looking back, tossing away the Sink into Stupor was like, no, I didn't toss that away. I didn't exile that. That was Thoughtseize out of my hand. That just sucked for me. How did this happen? How did this happen? I thought our hand was great. Our hand was great. Well, technically, I can't even deal with the first Ensnaring Bridge. Forget the next 2. Well, anyway, Lantern Control is back thanks to the unbanning of Mox Opal. I don't feel as scared as I would have been in the past. I think actually the matchup is plenty winnable. We have a lot of great counterspells and great spells and lands to bounce Ensnaring Bridge. Like, we have 6 main deck cards that can deal with the card and a lot of great interaction. So it's not going to be a 5%er like it used to be. But I mean, it's still gonna do its thing. That was round 4. Let's move on to round 5. We won the die roll. This hand's awful. It's basically 5 lands. We're gonna mulligan. This hand has no lands. We're also gonna mulligan this one. This hand is quite acceptable. How am I gonna play it? I think I'm gonna dump the Vial in a Force of Negation. And go like turn 1 dock hand. Then maybe if I just peel a bunch of lands, I can play Harbinger of the Seas with Force of Negation backup. Fortunately, our opponent did mulligan to 6. We're definitely going to keep this. It's different ways I could play it. I could dump both Force of Negations, just live off the Vial, the Dockhand, and the Harbinger, and hope we just draw lands. I could dump one Force, one Vial. That would give us 2 lands, and as much that would give us 2 lands, so we just need to draw 1 more land. Because the thing is, if I keep the Vial in 2 land hand, then I need to wait till turn 4 to get Harbinger of the Season play. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to dump the Vial. We're just gonna we sort of need to hope to draw a 3rd land anyway. Thundering Falls. For me to tap down. They kept a card on top. They must like it. I think I'm going to keep the Sink in my hand still, and I think I'm just going to tap down their land so that I can slow them down, but also maybe tap down a red source that could kill the Harbinger of the Seas next turn. What is this? Censor? What? Why? Okay. Hopefully we can get a Harbinger of the Seas to resolve. Drawing Spreading Seas is fine. I guess I should technically attack for 1 first, because I'm going to tap out to play Harbinger of the Seas. So we're just hoping for no Stern Scolding. Whatever this deck is. Maybe it's a wizard deck or something. Consider away. They found a expressive iteration. Okay, so we're just hoping. Let's hope they can't play any red cards from here on out. Yeah, that wasn't finding a mountain anyway. I'm just going to attack for 1. Just to play around Snapcaster Mage. I'm just sort of hoping that this Harbinger of the Seas is like a semi-lock. There you go, exactly. I still got it. I still got it. So this is just going to probably flashback Consider. And our Dockhand has Natural Island Walk, so we don't have to worry about it. So we get in the damage. I'll let the Consider resolve. It's okay. No big deal. We need to save Force Negation for a Sink into Stupor, which is there's probably like 1 or 2 in the deck. Okay, they have another Snapcaster Mage. Which means, I guess my Dockhand has to be on defense. Oh, there's a Tameo. Huh. Huh. So I have to make sure the opponent isn't drawing too many cards here, huh? Okay, let's see if this gets nailed by a counterspell. Nope. Oh yeah, this is going to be a card drawing machine, isn't it? Who's racing who? I'm going to take 2. I could, in theory, tack back for 4. It's not clear to me if there's a Snapcaster Mage here or not. I can hit for 2. No, okay, let's assume that there is a Snapcaster Mage. I'm just going to try to stem some bleeding. Okay, there's 1 card. Flood Pit's Drowner. Useful. Okay, so if... Not sure if this is useful for me. Do you have... Like, if I attack and they play Snapcaster Mage, I can Flood Pit's Drowner, tap it down. Doesn't seem that valuable, though. Seems more valuable to get rid of the Tameo, if anything. But they are more tapped out right now. Whatever. Okay, is this going to eat a counterspell? Oh, it's going to eat Subtlety. Okay. I am going to lose this war. Let's put on the bottom. I need to draw a Lord. We need an island. We need an island walk, Lord. I don't care where it comes from, but I need it. Need one now. These are not good cards. Okay, I guess we're gonna hit the Steam Vents. Ooh, okay, we got a Lord. Damn it. They most certainly have a counterspell here. Am I winning the race if I wait? They have so much mana. Okay, say goodbye to my Lord of Atlantis. Sorry, my Master of the Pearl Trident. Oh, it's not the counterspell I thought they were gonna play, but that works too. This is sad. We got our Harbinger of the Season play. We're disabling all our opponent's red spells. We're still losing. We're gonna have to deal with the stupid Tameo soon. Probably we have to side out Harbinger of the Seas into games 2 and 3 because it shuts off our Mutavault, which is useful. Also shuts off our Cavernous Souls, which is also going to be incredibly useful. Tameo Flipperoonies. It's going to +1, which is going to make it very difficult to attack. Maybe Subtlety is just going to sit on defense. I don't blame my opponent. I mean, they're completely in charge here. Murktide Regent. What is this? Oh, is it just blue-red Murktide? Minus Ragavan, probably? Just make a note, like this is like a game where Spreading Seas is just way worse. Like any of the blue matchups, Spreading Seas is going to be worse than Tide Shaper. We're gonna do nothing. We're gonna do nothing, and we're gonna die probably pretty quickly. Like if these Spreading Seas were Tide Shapers, we could have just played them for 1 earlier on. They could have been a random beat stick. 1 mana Grizzly Bear is good with me. Coming in for 9. Another Tameo. Why not? It makes so much sense. You already transformed into a Planeswalker. And now you're back. It's fine. I have not been able to use these Force Negations at all. Does nothing. I mean, I guess I could have played it to see if they have Counterspell. I think might have just let it resolve. Okay, cards that we want. Hexcatcher is good. Or I should say it's fine. Toughness Tidebinder is fine. Consign to Memory. Do we want that? Probably not. Stern Scolding. Hits Tameo. Hits Snapcaster Mage. Hits... maybe not enough stuff. Dismember. I like Dismember. Spring Seas. No! No, 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 no. Not good. Harbinger of the Seas. Also not really good. Okay, so I guess we're going to have some Stern Scoldings. Take out maybe one more Dockhand. Seems okay. I guess it just hits Tameo. What else does Consign to Memory hit? Consign to Memory can counter like Snapcaster Mage ETB. Counters Tameo trigger, I guess. When you draw the cards. But that's not like a big thing. I don't know. I don't know what else this thing can hit. Can hit like a Subtlety ETB, but that's also pretty bad. Maybe Stern Scolding is just too narrow still. Okay, I'll have one. No, but Snapcaster Mage is so annoying. Okay, whatever. Whatever, we have one. It's probably going to show up too. Okay, we're going to keep. Dockhand actually is quite nice in this type of matchup because you can just like just keep sending it in, keep sending it in. Like Hex Catcher is good enough for buffing it up. Send in the Hexcat. Send in them Dockhands. Mishra's Bauble gets cracked. Looking at who? Targeting themselves. It's Deja Vu. Dumping Flame of Anor. Okay, we probably should have more Stern Scoldings, if that's the case. Probably. I guess attack for 1. No, well, let's get underneath some counter magic, right? Or hold on, maybe attack for 1 and we play a Dockhand. That way if they play a creature, we can dismember it. And also, these are sort of these tiny, stupid little grunts we want to have up. It's not mana efficient, but these are like the little dinky grunts I want to have up front that they don't really want to spend removal on, but it's going to incrementally deal like bits of damage here and there for the entire game. Pyroclasm. Okay, well, that makes me sad as hell. That's the energy splash damage on Merfolk. Probably means it's like even more important to win game 1. Given that we have Ether Vial on turn 3 without putting like a play in play or putting a card in play, not liking our chances in this game. To be honest, I didn't think about the Pyroclasm at all. Like, it wasn't even on my radar. If I was a little bit sharper, I guess the right play is just pass and then play a Hex Catcher or Flood Pit's Drowner at end of turn. And we will most definitely kill this Tameo. It's a bit too much of a nuisance, at least at the moment. Well, they don't want to do anything, so I'm just not going to do anything. I can deploy creatures one at a time with this Ether Vial. I think. Like probably maybe they're going to Flame of Venor now. Yep. Okay. Well, that's not good. That's terrible. I just wasted several turns waiting for that thing to get online. Waiting for Magic Online to catch up with me here. Okay, I gotta reveal a Merfolk. Which one to reveal? I guess a Flood Pits Drowner. If I'm gonna be passing with mana up, I guess I'd be fine with them knowing I have a Flood Pits Drowner. Yeah, registered? I select this. I reveal Flood Pits Drowner. There we go. I guess it's moments like that are the laggy moments a lot of Magic Online players are talking about. Another Ether Vial. Maybe the correct number of vials is 3. It's tough to say. It's like having Ether Vial on turn 1 is still good. Like but the problem is like Vial on all the other turns are just very bad. Very, 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 very bad. Okay, our opponent liked a card. They put one on top. It's in their hand already. Flame of Venor. Oh, they want to draw 2 cards this time. Alright. You want to catch up? Well, they have no wizard. Apparently. Play my land, play around Spell Pierce. If that's something I need to play around. Get our Ether Vial in play again. What? What? A null? Counter target. Okay. It's countered. Is this an opportunity to get another creature in play? I think it is. Just to get underneath counter magic. Oh, but they could Pyroclasm me again. I'm not prepared for that. Okay, pass. A null. What else does that hit? Spreading Seas? Which isn't even good versus them? Or maybe it is. I don't know. And maybe I could see a world where they want to keep... they've been hit by like Harbinger of the Seas and Spreading Seas on their single mountain. What do they have here? Pyroclasm. They could go Snap. Well, they're in a spot now. They could go Snap, hit Flood Pits Drowner. Sorry, Snap, play Flame of Venor, and like that'd be pretty backbreaking. So let's just say no. Let's just keep attacking with the Silvergill Adept until it's not allowed to attack anymore. Suppose the lag is not just affecting just me, it's affecting the opponent as well. I really need another land. That's nice. I do appreciate the Flare of Denial. Okay, we'll just keep passing. I would like another land, though, so I can, like, double spell in one turn. This is another draw, too. Sure. Ooh, Galvanic Discharge. Sure. Now with that, I might as well get a Flood Pits Drowner in play. So, like, if they play Pyroclasm, that's fine. Ugh. Okay, well. That is not fine. Maybe I should have played the Flood Pits before the Flare of Denial. Oh, no, sorry. No, I didn't know they were going to completely tap out until they played Galvanic Discharge. I have to let Expressive Iteration resolve. We're in that point of the game where our opponent is playing 2 spells a turn and we can only play 1. So we are very, very, very likely going to lose. We had Ether Vial. They dealt with our Ether Vial. If we had Cavernous Souls, maybe they wouldn't be able to deal with that. It looks like they're about to play a Murktide Regent. Yep. Now they don't know about our second Flood Pits Drowner. Ah, that's great. So late. Okay, pass. I can only assume that. I mean, they may not have. I don't know what their deck looks like post board, but I imagine it still has a lot of counter spells in it. I mean, they had freaking a null, for crying out loud. Ew. Another subtlety. Well, we're gonna flare that. This is gonna get counterspelled. Yeah, we can just concede. We can just concede. That totally didn't go our way. That was terrible. That was an abomination. That is not that bad of a matchup. Well, what can I say about this deck? Oops, where am I here? Where's our deck tech view? There we go. It was not bad. It's possible the dock hand sort of stung us actually in most of the games. It would have been much better off as a Tide Shaper. So maybe this should not be a dock hand, and maybe it should be Tide Shaper anyway. And well, here's the deal: if we played against Energy, the dock hand, Tide. Oh, sorry, it's Tide Space Shaper. The thing is, if we were up against Energy decks, the dock hand is a lot better because you can play it on turn 1, no matter what, on the play or the draw, and it can block like Oscillate Pride, which is pretty important. You can also like chump block the Guide of Souls as a 2/1. You can't do that with Tide Shaper. And well, okay, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the luck of the draw of our matchups. We ended up having like a lot of blue. Did we have a lot of bluish matchups? We're up against Lantern Control. We were up against. No, yeah. Well, we were up against one blue. We were up against that Goryo's deck, but they like just completely conceded. So results wise, League was pretty bad. Like, we did get our head kicked in. One of our match wins, our opponent conceded, I would say, a little prematurely. What can I say? I did like having Silvergill Adept. That felt great. That did feel very, very good. I did like having Spreading Seas as well. This card, again, Flood Pit's Drowner, we did not get to play against any energy decks where that card might have seen some really good use. Harbinger of the Seas is still good, just as ever. Huh. I don't know. Still a lot of work, still some work to do. I don't like how polarized this metagame is, but it doesn't look... if the problem is energy is not the problem anymore. Now Breach is the problem. But I don't think Breach is going to be strong enough to pull down the energy numbers enough. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe energy just folds to Breach so badly that all we have to do is deal with Breach. But we didn't. I don't feel like we played against the top range of the metagame. We played against like just a bunch of other random stuff. Just too many. Like I know Lantern's a deck, but that's not a big deck. I mean, I know Blue-Red Wizards, that's a deck, but that's not a big deck. Goro's Vengeance, that's a pretty big deck. But we were up against Grixis Goryo's Vengeance. Anyway, I'm going to closely monitor how good the 1 toughness creatures are. Yeah, I'm gonna keep 2 eyes on them because it's gonna be really important. If they're good, then they are very good, and I want to play with more of them because Flood Pit's Drowner and Silvergill Adept are still good even in today's metagame, but we can't get undermined by Orcish Bowmasters, especially Flood Pit's Drowner. I would really like to play with this card. I think it is a fantastic card. All right, if you like the content, don't forget to give a thumbs up. I'll catch you later next time, Fish Fam.